She had seen countless patients walk through those hospital doors, but something about this man stopped her. His clothes were torn, his leg bleeding, and yet he apologized for being a burden. Claire Morgan didn't see a stranger, she saw a soldier, someone who had already given everything. When the clerk whispered, "No insurance," Claire didn't hesitate. She picked up a med kit, guided him to a chair, and began to clean the wound herself. No chart, no paperwork, just quiet care. In that small act, she broke every rule the hospital demanded and honored every value her heart believed in. She offered him a bandage, antibiotics, and a granola bar from her own lunch, whispering, "You fought for this country, let someone fight for you now." That moment wasn't about policy, it was about humanity, the kind that still chooses compassion when the system forgets to. The next morning, Claire was called into the administrator's office. The same hands that had steadied a trembling veteran now clutched her badge as she listened to a list of violations: unauthorized treatment, no documentation, breach of policy. Each word stung, but she didn't defend herself. How could she explain that sometimes rules have to bend to save a life? The director's voice was cold, distant, rehearsed. "You're suspended pending review." Just like that, 11 years of service reduced to a file on a desk. As she walked down the hallway, the fluorescent lights felt harsher, the walls colder. Her co-workers avoided eye contact, some out of fear, some out of guilt. Outside, she took a deep breath, the air heavy with disbelief. She had done everything right except follow the wrong rule. Holding her purse tight, she whispered to herself, "I'd do it again." By evening, the story had already found its way online. Someone had posted a short message, "Nurse suspended for helping a veteran." Within hours, it spread like wildfire. Thousands of comments poured in, some outraged, some heartbroken, all united in disbelief. "This is what's wrong with the system. She's a hero. My father was a veteran, thank you for standing up for what's right." Claire sat on her porch, phone buzzing non-stop, messages from strangers who saw in her something they wished still existed: decency. News stations began calling. Hashtags trended. For the first time, her silence spoke louder than any defense could. Across the city, people began asking one question: how could compassion ever be against the rules? And somewhere between the noise and the chaos, the world remembered that kindness still matters. The next morning, the hospital lobby fell silent as the elevator doors opened and a 4-star general stepped out. His uniform was crisp, his expression unreadable. Staff froze, unsure what to say, as he asked in a calm, steady voice, "Where can I find Nurse Claire Morgan?" Word spread instantly, phones came out, whispers filled the halls. The administrator rushed down, stammering polite questions, but the general didn't flinch. "I served with the man your nurse helped," he said. "Walter Briggs saved my life in Kandahar, twice." The room grew still. "Your nurse gave him what this system refused: dignity." His words carried more weight than any policy ever could. Then he turned to the crowd and said, "You punished compassion." The truth echoed off the walls, cutting through years of bureaucracy and fear. In that moment, everyone realized the same thing: rules had never looked so small. The confrontation changed everything. By evening, the hospital's silence had turned into unease. The administrator stood before the cameras, voice trembling as he rescinded Claire's suspension and offered an apology that sounded more like surrender than leadership. Yet, the apology wasn't just for her, it was for every act of compassion the system had punished before. Soon, other hospitals began reviewing their rules, questioning where policy had replaced purpose. Claire received a new offer, not as a nurse confined by regulations, but as a liaison for veteran care, a voice within the walls that once silenced her. She accepted quietly, not for recognition, but to make sure no one else would ever have to choose between kindness and consequence. And as she walked back through those hospital doors, the same place that once broke her spirit, she carried something far stronger than forgiveness: change. Weeks later, the hospital had changed in quiet but meaningful ways. A plaque now hung near the ER doors, reading, "For those who act with compassion before protocol." Claire returned to her rounds, no longer just a nurse, but a reminder of what courage looked like. One afternoon, a young resident stopped her, worry etched on his face. "There's a Marine in room 7, he said softly. "No insurance, and protocol says transfer, but he's not stable. What should I do?" Claire smiled, recognizing the same conflict she once faced. "What does your instinct say?" she asked. He hesitated, then whispered, "Treat him now." She nodded. As she turned to leave, he called after her, "What if I get in trouble?" Claire paused, her voice calm, certain, unshakable. "Then I'll call the general."